Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Compass, and this is your July 2022 housing market update. And man, are we starting to see some shifts and some changes for the first time in a long time, many years actually. Let's go ahead and dive in and talk about what we're going to cover today. We'll start off with days on market, then move to months of housing inventory for single family homes, number of new listings, number of active listings, which is a new addition to this housing market update. We'll move to median and average sale price, mortgage rates. We'll take a look at 12 months back, 5 years, and then an all-time look back. We'll then go to Denver area unemployment rate and then finish it up with my 30-day prediction on what to expect in the housing market in this Denver metro area. Let's go ahead and jump in. For the month of June, the median days on market was 5. That's in comparison to an average of 10 days on the market to get a house under contract. And here's a visual look back at what's going on. Things looked pretty predictable from 2014 to 2020, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and everything went out the window. Months of housing inventory for single family homes in the month of June was 1 month. So there isn't much change here. The inventory for the metro area is still extremely low and still what I would consider extremely strained. We get a better picture of inventory when we move to number of new listings. That's at 5,607. And where I thought in May we were going to start seeing a decline in the number of new listings being put on the market, June came around and topped that. In fact, it was higher than a year ago just by slightly. In June of last year, we saw 5,534 homes, but that really hasn't benefited buyers in any real way, even though we're seeing slightly more listings go on the market, because up until this point, there were a lot of buyers shopping out there and the competition was pretty high. And the newest addition to this housing market update is number of active listings. This gives us a picture of not only how many new homes are going on the market, but how many total homes are on the market. This will allow us to have a better view into how long houses are sitting on the market. When we take a look at the historical graph of active listings, over on the right, you see that the number of listings on the market today is starting to increase. We haven't quite hit pre-pandemic levels, but it appears like we are headed in that direction. Now, it's important to keep in mind that from 2014 to 2020, it was considered very much a seller's market and far favorable for sellers than buyers. So I mention that to say that there are a lot of people using catchy headlines about a housing market crash. We're still pretty far away from anything that would remotely look like a buyer's market. Moving on to sale price, the median for the month of June was $660,000. That's in comparison to the average of $797,211. We do tend to see a seasonal slowdown starting in the month of July, so I think that this drop is a part of that, but we're also seeing more price drops in houses sitting on the market a little bit longer than I have seen in the last couple of years. So I think this is twofold what we're seeing. And the big question I have moving forward is how deep are sellers going to have to cut their prices in order to get their houses sold? What I think we could be seeing is an increase in inventory, which will cool down this hyper-competitive market and should cool down prices quite a bit. This will be a huge relief for buyers because for the last couple of years, it has just been hyper-competitive to try and get a house under contract. However, I think it's important to keep in mind, as mentioned before, the inventory is still quite low. So if you are putting your house on the market, you do still have some leverage just based on inventory alone. Moving on to mortgage rates, the 30-year fixed is sitting at 5.51, the 15-year fixed 4.67, and the 5/1 adjustable 4.35. And this is a 5-year look back. You can see that at the beginning of 2022, we've seen rates skyrocket, which has pulled out some buyers. However, I think it's important to keep in mind what rates look like historically, and a 5.51% interest rate is still looking pretty good when you compare it to rates back in the 90s and early 2000s. How's unemployment rate looking at the moment? Well, the Denver area unemployment rate is sitting at 3.1%. That's in comparison to the national average of 3.6%. So we are now 0.5% under what the US national average is, which I think is good. I think that this is at a reasonable rate, not quite pre-pandemic, but it looks like we may be heading in that direction, pending any sort of macroeconomic factors. Now on to the 30-day prediction. What do I expect over the next month? Well, first off, I think we'll continue to see this gradual inventory growth. There'll be more houses to pick from. Houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer. We are going to see more price drops. That's for certain. I'm already seeing that. It just doesn't reflect too much in those prices. Interest rates, I think, are a little bit of a wild card here, a little bit of a variable, but I expect it to be somewhere around 5 to 6%. It may very well cross into 6%, so just be ready for that. And I think it's going to get more common for buyers to be able to get houses for at or below asking price. It wasn't too many months ago that buyers were paying $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 over asking price just to beat out the other competition. So that's what I mean by this is a little bit of a breath of fresh air for buyers, and for those that have been patient enough, your patience is about to pay off. And if you're a buyer getting concerned about what the interest rates are right now, keep in mind that they may not always be at this rate. They may fall, and when that time comes, you will be able to refinance and get a lower mortgage monthly payment. This is Sean Mitchell with Compass Real Estate. This is your Denver Metro housing market update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're a buyer or a seller or know someone who's looking at getting in the market, my contact information will be at the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and catch you on the next one.